from the Richmond Rivets, and we have an exciting program around emergency preparedness called 2 Steps a Month, and this is month 2. So if you haven't already seen month 1, go back and check that out. Once again, you can get the information at richmondrivets.org or 2stepsamonth.weebly.com. So month 2 is around water. Water. So we're going to look first at where do we currently have water, and it's beyond just water. It's around how do we stay hydrated. So we're going to look at first off, just a little quick note. As a culture, we have really kind of outsourced a lot of really basic needs like food and water and ways of keeping us heated. So having a little bit more resilience in our system and having a little bit of a backup is a great strategy. So if we were to lose water, which could happen in a disaster, whether it's an earthquake and pipes getting ruptured, to pipes freezing during cold weather, or floods and the water becoming contaminated, or the thing that happened in Pennsylvania, bless those people. We want to have some access in order to kind of take care of ourselves. So first step is around assessing where do we currently have safe drinking water right now without having to go get anything. So refrigerator, freezer, great place. Melted ice cubes. Think beyond just water, so ways to keep yourself hydrated. So canned fruits and vegetables, the liquid in there you can use. If you have a hot water tank, and once again, this is the not on-demand type, but the type that actually has water in it that's stored, that is great. If you live in earthquake country, make sure that you get the little metal straps and bolt it down, because that's 40 to 65 gallons that you really want to have access to. Now you can also sometimes get water that's in the pipes. If you're in an earthquake country, you want to close off the water shutoff that brings water in, so you're not bringing contaminated water into your pipes. And we'll talk about how to do that in another month. Now, some unsafe sources of water. So these are water that you would use after you've used your other supplies up. And they need to be purified or used for bathing and hygiene. Now, one of them is, need to know your toilet anatomy, is toilet tank water. So that's the part behind, not the bowl. Don't drink the bowl stuff, that's gross. So don't flush your toilet if water is a premium. And you do need to purify that water in the tank. Now, swimming pools and spas, don't ever drink that stuff. That is just filled with chemicals. However, it's great for bathing. So don't jump in and get the water all nasty for everybody else. Take a little container, step, outside, get a little bowl, go outside, and then just kind of do a little bathing outside so you're not contaminating the larger reservoir of water. Now, if you get advance notice of disasters, which we don't get here in earthquake country, but if you get advance notice, for example, it's going to be a heavy freeze and the pipes might break, then you can fill up your bathtub ahead of time and then you've got some stored water. You don't want to do that if there's an earthquake and then you want to bring in the water because the water is likely to be contaminated from ruptured pipes. So don't do that if after an earthquake. So let's say, for example, you've gone through your bottled watered house, your ice cubes and all that stuff, and now you've got water that might not be safe to drink. So there are ways to purify that. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that it's clear and there isn't any particles in it. So you can get it clear by running the water through clean cloth or through a coffee filter. The best way of purifying is by boiling it. However, energy may not be available. So if you are able to boil it for 1 minute, and rapid boil for at least 1 minute, that's great. But once again, if you don't have the energy available, the next best method is using chlorination. So you can use bleach. Don't use bleach that has any scents in it or color fast stuff, just plain unscented bleach. And what you do is you take 1/8 of a teaspoon per gallon, stir it, let it sit for 30 minutes, and smell it. If it smells like bleach, good thing. If it doesn't smell like bleach, another 1/8 of a teaspoon, wait 15 minutes. If it smells like bleach, good. If it doesn't, don't drink it. Now, little minor point. Water purifiers that are countertop water purifiers do not take out things like bacteria and viruses. So don't assume you can take contaminated water and filter it with a countertop. Camping purifiers are great that are built for stuff like that, but none of these countertop stuff. So that's step one, just assessing what we have currently right now should we lose access to water from the tap, something we really take for granted. Step two is around actually supplementing that with some additional water, so having a backup. Now, some of you have heard 72 hours, be prepared for 72 hours. Now, that's a minimum, bare minimum. That's like 72 hours, hoping that within 72 hours they're going to actually be able to bring water to us. As you know from Hurricane Katrina, the time lapse was a little larger than that. Now, in the East Bay where I live in the San Francisco region, they said if 7.5 magnitude, this is from the East Bay Municipal Water District, 7.5 magnitude earthquake, probably 5,000 plus ruptures to the main and no water service for 6 months. So 3 days, I would want to go a little bit more than that. So we have on our little handout here, and this is the one that I give my students. So once again, this is a great project to do with students who learn about severe weather and earthquakes and stuff like that. 2 to 3 weeks, I think, is like a nice, starting point. And once again, that allows you to kind of wait until the systems get in place or until you need to figure out how you're going to evacuate. But it just gives you a little bit more buffer. So this kind of walks you through about, do I want to be on the 1 gallon per day, which is the bare minimum? Or do I want to be on more of a luxury plan, which is like 3 gallons a day? Do I want to go for 2 weeks or do I want to go for 3 weeks? And it helps you calculate what that would look like in terms of your numbers. So we have always kind of a do now. So I'd say your do now is to make sure you have some way to purify water, such as unscented bleach in your household or some other means. And the tip of the month is if we lose water, bathing is a luxury. And so not all body parts need to be cleaned the same amount. So what you can do is you just get a wet washcloth and do your face and your underarms and your private parts. I encourage you to do what my students do. We do a 3 gallon per day, 3 gallon challenge to see how that works. And really how important water is to us. And also bonus, kind of get some water for work, so you might be not at your house and not have that access to that backup plan. So once again, great to do this in community. Highly encourage you to talk with people and to get people more prepared that you care about, that are close to you. And remember, together we can do it. 2 Steps a Month is a project of the Richmond Rivets, a transition town initiative in Richmond, California, dedicated to helping our community and beyond live more locally and resiliently. We also have a seed lending library in the Richmond Public Library where members of the community can borrow seeds for free. We provide free education on seed saving so folks can take seeds, plant them, let some of them go to seed, and return the next generation of seeds for others to borrow. If you're not from the Richmond area but like the idea of a seed lending library, go to richmondgrowseeds.org and check out our Create a Library resources to start one in your own town. And join the growing movement.